Radio TV Phono Nut here, and what we have is a fairly recently made Crosley Dansette, which is a reproduction of the 1960s British-made Dansette models. And I can pretty much assure you that the original was a better quality product than this. The main thing this has going for it is the case. Other than that, it's just another junky Crosley. Now, I bought this for whatever stupid reason. Maybe I need my head examined off of the Goodwill auction site. It was very cheap, but the problem is it was supposed to have had legs with it. They mentioned in the description it had legs and showed pictures of the legs. Well, guess what? The thing showed up today and no legs were included, so I sent them a message and we'll see what happens. A while back, I had this happen with a turntable where they didn't include the counterweight that was supposed to be with it, and I got a partial refund on that one, so let's see what happens on this one. Now, these things cost over $200 when they were new, and I'm going to demonstrate to you why $200 is way too much money for one of these. Now, first off, we have an AT3600 magnetic cartridge. Now, you would think a magnetic cartridge would be an improvement to one of these things. Well, it would be if the rest of the circuitry was properly matched for it, but in this case, pretty much all the addition of a magnetic cartridge is just putting lipstick on a pig. And I will demonstrate the sound quality in just a few minutes, or the lack thereof. A second problem, and this is my fault because I wasn't really looking at the pictures well enough. I just saw the cheap price and the cheap shipping and hit the button before I paid attention to it. This counterweight was loose inside of the record player, which it was in the picture. And it's supposed to attach to the rear of the tone arm, but the plastic sleeving is broken off. I don't know if you can tell, but part of the plastic is still up inside of the counterweight. I could probably fix that, but I don't even know if it's worth the trouble, quite frankly. Now let's open this up and see what the inside looks like, and then we'll give it a sound test. And oddly enough, this doesn't have 78 RPM speed, although the motor has the pin for a 78 RPM setting. They just didn't use it. Now, why they didn't include 78 RPM, I don't know. It wouldn't have cost, for what these things cost, it should have had all three speeds, and you can get a 3mm stylus for this Audio-Technica cartridge, so I don't know what their thinking was behind that. Alright, here's the inside, and here's the sealed enclosure that contains the speakers. Probably a couple of, at best, probably two 4-inch speakers. At least they did that right, sealed the speaker enclosure. And down here is the little amplifier. No, actually, that's the volume control and auxiliary and phono switch. Back here is the little surface-mounted amplifier board. It's not much to it. And then there's the auto stop and switch for the motor. You can see not much to this thing at all. And like I said, there's the motor. You can see the blank pin right there where the 78 circuitry would have gone, which is nothing more than an external pot and an appropriate switch. Now, what I was thinking I might do to this, you can give me your ideas if you'd like to, and before I get started with telling you what I'm going to do to it, it's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. I've got too many other things on my plate to engage in this project right now, but I was thinking about just ripping all of this crap out, cutting a new motor board, and installing some better components. Now, I don't really care if it has line out. It doesn't even have to be stereo. I mean, with the speakers this close together, you're not going to get much separation anyway, but I was thinking maybe take the guts out of a trashed school record player, cut a new motor board for this thing, and mount the amplifier and speaker and turntable and tone arm and everything out of a junk school phonograph in the case of this thing, and I would actually have something that looks respectable and will sound a lot better than this thing does. And you can see they use plenty of hot glue on here, or also what we sometimes refer to as the Chinese ejaculatory fluid. Ooh, they didn't glue that one down very well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the original Dansette models used a BSR changer, but it would be nice if I could put a changer in this one, but we don't have enough clearance, I don't think, for the spindle to allow the lid to close. If I could use a changer, I wouldn't have to cut a new motor board. I could just use this one. They could have at least made this part where the counterweight slips up on. They could have at least made that out of metal instead of cheap plastic that gets brittle and cracks and breaks. Okay, we have our counterweight taped in position. Yeah, that's fixed in real redneck fashion, isn't it? No. If we'd have been shooting for the redneck way of doing it, we'd have used duct tape instead of masking tape. Okay, here it is. It gets plenty loud enough, but I think this thing's a little bit too light. I don't care about the skipping, I just care about the sound quality, and there's virtually no bass to this. It gets louder than a Crosley Cruiser, but there's just no bass. And another thing, they could have also given you a tone control for as much as these hunks of junk cost. Okay, just for fun, we have this little Sony mini turntable that uses a magnetic cartridge and a built-in preamp, which we have turned on, and we have it plugged into the auxiliary input of this Crosley hunk of junk, and I just want to see how it sounds with that, assuming this stylus is even usable. I've never even tried this yet. Okay, so it's going to go into auto stop mode, alright? Well then hurry up, I got things to do here. Okay, it may have a tad more bass using the preamp and the turntable. So I think what they could have done to make this better is, number one, use better quality speakers, and number two, have the phono stage more properly equalized, and then I think you'd be in good shape. And like I said, I do want to find something useful to put in this Crosley cabinet, but like I've already said also, it's not going to happen anytime soon. I've got too many other pressing projects that need to be finished. But we'll get to this one day. And as far as this Sony turntable, it's one day going to be modified for 3-speed. And there is a 3mm stylus available for this Sanyo cartridge. But again, that'll have to come later when I get some extra time on my hands. Here's a little kitty record player that's branded as a GS sound unit, which was sold by Gospel Services Company. This same record player in a different color scheme was sold by Sears Roebuck under the Silvertone brand, and it was made by Karen Manufacturing Company. This one's solid state from 1973. And it's one I fixed up a long time ago. I did the usual work to it. The plastic tone arm was broken, so I replaced it with a metal one off of a junk school record player. Uses the standard 4-speed Alliance mechanism. And the reason I show it to you is because even this cheapy thing sounds more pleasing than that Crosley does. one actually has a tone control on it. But yeah, it's pretty bad when a little cheap $20 record player from 1970 whatever sounds better than something like this that cost over $200 and is supposed to utilize, quote unquote, the latest most modern technology. You know, you would think something this so quote unquote upscale would sound better than what it does. And on the note of upscale, I have a little story to tell that you'll get a laugh out of. I found a local Facebook for sale group with the word upscale in the title, so I read the rules and didn't see anything that gave me any indication that the kind of stuff I have would not be allowed there. Pretty much the impression I got was as long as it's in good shape and not roached out, then it's fair game. The only thing she said is if you're on here trying to sell your broken baby walker from 1984, then you need to go somewhere else with that. And she also said no junk allowed on here. Well, junk can mean different things to different people, so, you know, she could have just left that out completely. But anyway, I joined the group and listed one of my Caliphone record players that was in decent shape, and within a few hours the ad got pulled. So I, being a smart butt that I can sometimes be, I just put the ad back up there and the same thing happened again. Well, I started to do something very smart-assy and post a picture of a trashed out record player and ask them, is this upscale enough for you? Or I was going to post a picture of the Caliphone one more time and say, well, I'm sorry, this wasn't upscale enough for you the first time, so instead of it being $60, it's now $600. Or do I need to paint it turquoise, add some screw-on legs, and ask $900 for it to be upscale enough for you? But I didn't. I took the high road and sat on my hands and just quietly exited myself from the group. The gal running it is somebody I know of, and she's one of those what I call the snooty patootie cutie types that hangs around with all the other snooty patootie rich female dogs and thinks they're better than everybody else. I mean, I'm sure you know the kind I'm talking about. The world's full of them, so heck, she probably looked at it and thought I stole the darn thing from the public school district, which of course I didn't do, and I think the public school system got rid of all of theirs 20 years ago. So, and I'm not the type to steal something, but if I was going to steal something, I can tell you this, I'd go for bigger than an old Caliphone record player that's obsolete. So yeah, I'll just stick to the low-scale Facebook pages to get rid of anything I want to get rid of, and here lately I have gotten rid of a few record players on there, but now we seem to be going through a dry spell. Of course, not making any money off of them, just getting a little something out of them to cover some of my investment and make some room over here. And as far as that other one that you just saw, I'm going to put it up for about $25, and if it don't go pretty quick, it's probably going to get dropped off at the thrift store. The lady that runs that is giving me some stuff here, and you know, I'd rather drop it off at her place and maybe she can get something out of it than, you know, try to deal with these ding-a-lings around here. Like I said, I'll try for a week or two, and if it don't go, it leaves here. But back to this, we will come up with something creative to do with it. Like I said, it's not going to be right away. I've got other things that are more pressing that need my attention, but we'll get to this one day. Or if I can figure out a way to mount that counterweight, then I may just put the thing up for sale and try to get my investment back out of it and be done with it.